Hello, Internet, and welcome to Skin Theory. I'm Joan Metz.
And I'm Slightly Floating.
And I'm Dev Solove, and this is a show where we talk about skin theory. We talk about shitty theories about SpongeBob made by people who I would with my bare hands if I ever met them.
It's like we were just talking about... We have this major shift in tone for our show, and we're going to focus on the positive and talk about things that are cool.
Yes.
And then this thing happened and we got really mad.
This is Disasterpiece Publishing House, a show about the Wild West of weird internet literature, but we're breaking from our format to talk about something called skin theory. If you've not heard of this, it's a SpongeBob fan theory that is bad and wrong.
And in my opinion, I feel like, for us, this is our moratorium on MatPat, so we can assess the damage that he did to media literacy on that platform.
That is part of what I wanted to bring up. So I wanted to make sure that my thoughts on this were absolutely clear, and I'm too tired these days to think fast, so I wrote down a list of kind of talking points, larger points that we can make about this. Just to show that, like, we're not just here to debunk skin theory. I'm going to want to do some of that, but we're here because there's a larger point that can be made. So can I go ahead and read it off, or do you have anything?
I'm just gonna say Dev's bringing that energy. I'm just here to be a hater.
I've only heard about this, so this is all gonna be fun for me.
Yeah,
I'm along for the ride here.
I think a lot of at least the stuff that I bring to the show is usually stuff that I feel we can make a larger point about. And that's the reason why I made the exception to our usual, we're not going to bring any fan theories about super fucked up kids cartoons to the table. I just think we could have an interesting discussion.
Can I give the little crash course TLDR on, like, what this is, basically?
Yeah, go for it.
Because we're not just picking one that we have a beef with. This is one that's, like, kind of infamous, because it came out in a climate where, you know, everyone is, like, kind of being like, okay, what the fuck? Why are people taking these things so seriously? But they clearly have an audience. And this was the first one that kind of came out of the woodworks where everyone's just like, this is fucking stupid, and you're stupid for making it.
Yeah.
And then...
The comments take it seriously, though, is the thing, and that's what bugs me.
Well, to me, like, I feel like most people who are commenting on it are people who have ire for it. Like, most of what I have seen when I was personally browsing through it, especially just now when we were hunting for
the comment that got deleted.
Yeah. This is gonna have the biggest "you gotta trust us, bro" moment ever.
Yeah, so there used to be... So the description itself, we'll read it in a minute, because I'd like to read it off, but there used to be a pinned comment on there that was the reason why we felt okay dunking on this. It was the last phrase on that comment in particular, where he says, "To those of you who can't tell whether or not this is satire, good." I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, we forgot to screen cap it, which, oh my god, we're so dumb. We're so fucking dumb, because we decided we were going to do this episode, like, what, a week ago?
Yeah.
And we were talking about that pinned comment, like, 4 days before recording this, and it has disappeared since then.
Yeah.
It's like he knows we're fucking coming for us.
Yeah, I hate that. The one theory he's had that was true. Anyway, I wrote this list. So the first number I have, it's just a list of 3 things, I believe. The first one on here we kind of already dug into in terms of, like, MatPat and stuff like that. This video is a case study just on the profound lack of media literacy that exemplifies a larger literacy crisis we're facing in the States, which contributes to the proliferation of misinformation. Skin theory, to me, has the same value to art as CinemaSins, in that it disrespects the very purpose and soul of artistic expression.
We should also preface that this is something that we know the bullet points of the theory on, like the broader points, because it's just kind of circulated, like, Joe has never seen the video. Dev has only seen the first 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, and I had to quit because it made me so mad.
I'm pretty sure it floated into my recommended at one point because I watch horrible things on YouTube. So, but I did not watch it.
So we're familiar with, like, the premise and, like, some of the bullet point proofs. If you want to talk about that, what we know going into it, because, like, this, even though we specifically have not watched this video, The fact that it exists in its own specific context because this dumb piece of shit uploaded it to his dumb piece of shit YouTube channel that hasn't been touched since because people said, "What the fuck is wrong with you stupid piece of shit?"
Well, no, it's because he's an edgelord.
so mean. Oh my god.
No, it's because he's an edgelord. Let me read this description.
If it'd be like that, though, you know.
Hold on. Because this dumb asshole got a bunch of eyeballs on his dumb asshole video. Even though most people are like, this is stupid, this guy is an idiot, this isn't a thing, people think it's a thing. Like, we thought it was a thing. Yeah. Like, in the general zeitgeist of discourse.
And it did go viral, but...
It went viral, and people, know about it, but we haven't particularly seen it. We've only seen the after effects of people making fun of it, and, the poisoning of the well that needing to have clickbait theories that are viral in relevancy... that it's that kind of content, you know?
Yeah.
It's just obvious what it is, and it's annoying.
Yeah, that's
I guess.
Essentially expressed by the description. This is just getting into the fact that, this guy is the origin of the theory. It reads, "One day when I was watching SpongeBob, I noticed something bizarre. This thing was so bizarre that I decided to spend months analyzing every single episode of SpongeBob SquarePants in search of answers. What I ended up finding was a completely original and impossibly well-supported conspiracy theory that will destroy everything we've ever been told about Bikini Bottom. The world needs to know the truth. This is the video that will change everything. Watch at your own risk."
Joe, do you have anything to say about that?
I like how it's specifically changing Bikini Bottom. Because I thought it was going to say, the whole world. But it's no, it's just within the realm of SpongeBob.
Well, you're going to have to change your bikini bottoms.
Your bikini
when you
bottoms.
Shit yourself from terror.
When you shit your bikini bottoms.
Just some broad strokes on this theory, by the way, if you haven't heard of it. The idea, this guy just took a bunch of, gags in the show that involved, tearing off costumes or skin and just turned it into, a whole... I don't know, some kind of weird cultural thing about wearing other fish's skin. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And I, as a cartoonist, I have a beef with the way that people specifically take unreal gags that are, if you're watching a fucking cartoon, you realize, if Squidward gets his face blown off, it's for, comedic effect, and the next frame he's gonna be fine.
Which is the next thing I was gonna get into on this list, in regards to the creator's, flippant attitude towards doing that stuff. So number 2, this creator's flippant attitude towards criticism and the insistence that he's glad no one can tell whether it's satire exemplifies the kind of 2010s irony culture of reading fucked up theories into kids' media because it's, ironic, pretending to enjoy things that are bad or intentionally making things that are bad to be ironic. It's a vestige of late 2000s trolling. It's mean-spirited and contemptuous view of outsider art in general, and I do also want to say, we have to admit our hands are not clean here. The initial concept of this show was vestiges of that, but we've learned better, and some people haven't. And this is why...
I'm going to make the point that I don't even think he's doing that. I think that this guy was just an edgelord who was I'm going to blow your fucking minds, and meant it, and then when people said, nah, son, he doubled back and is acting like that. However, Dev, you're making the point where...
He's able to do that because of irony culture.
Yeah, he's able to do that because of irony culture, and even if he was doing this as an ironic thing, he'd still be an asshole.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, the whole, no, you know what, maybe I did click on it. Maybe I did watch a little bit of it. Because I remember the whole salmon suit bit, I think he talked about that.
Oh my god, that was fucking... Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just building on that, even if it is satire, if people cannot tell that it's satire, then it's bad satire, because don't make me tap the sign, satire requires a clarity of purpose. If it were clearly satire, I think it would be excellent, because of the issues I just discussed, because it would be satirizing those issues rather than playing into it.
If anything, you could maybe call it, absurdist, but maybe not satire.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And it's bad absurdism anyhow.
I feel like we could find after this as a palate cleanser for myself, I'm going to be going and looking for something that's kind of the antithesis to this for us to talk about, so we can get back to our roots of actually talking about dope shit. But I don't know, we've all been kind of bummed, we've all been kind of angry at shitty edgelord clickbait art, and this is one that's just okay to punch down at. I feel like it is okay to make fun of this one. We aren't the first ones to do it. Guy got 5 fucking million views on his thing.
Yeah, people debunked this plenty of times because it's quite easy to debunk, and I think it's important to debunk too, to show people that, like, this is why you need media literacy.
I feel like the most absurd thing about this is it's easy to debunk with 3 words. It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, that simple rejection of the initial media and its initial intent to be a silly, absurd thing, and to go, I am officially not going to give a fuck about what they're trying to do and just assert my own will onto this and grasp at straws to do it because I'm so fucking smart. Go for it.
All right. On that note, I think we're going to dig in and watch the video. We're going to come back once we're done watching it, and you get to see us a lot more angry and probably a lot more stoned too. So
wouldn't it be really fucked up if we come back and we're like, actually, hold on,
all right, we'll be right back.
Bye, y'all.
Well, you know, if Steven Hillenburg was here today, he would have supported skin theory. The entire time we were watching it, Dan and I...
we were coming up with, like, more creative ways to kill this man.
Yeah. Like...
In Minecraft, of course.
Literally within the first second, I was already, like, flipping off the screen. And I don't even do that very often. There was points where I was, like, shaking angry and, like, close to crying angry.
The 28-minute mark, where it just flashed, it's just a kid's show in sarcastic quotes. I literally stopped taking notes and threw my pencil at the TV.
Yeah, we were gonna take notes.
We tried.
And then it was so stupid.
There's really nothing. He's just, at the end, he's like, yeah, but none of this shit really matters, and, like...
Well, that's the thing that, like, really dawned on me. There were a couple of things that were really shitty about this video, but the thing that fucked me up the most is he comes up with this whole complicated theory about how these fish are wearing other fish's skin, and that's fucked up. And the conclusion he comes to is that they're humans in costumes, so they're not fish and they're not wearing skin.
And they're not actually underwater.
And they're not underwater. And
if you don't like it, you're stupid, actually, because this is just my theory, and I think that's actually pretty epic, and I'm gonna start a conversation.
This is like Always Sunny, Charlie Day, like, Pepe Sylvia level bullshit. Objectively.
We have to structure this a little bit, otherwise we're just gonna we're gonna be like him and just keep going off on completely unrelated tangents. So, basically, he initially you think it's going to get structured because he has 3 specific clips that he shows.
Yeah.
And they're the clip of the rushing nesting doll thing where, like, the guy smells the onion breath and then it's, like, 3 people.
Yeah, and then there's...
shattered.
The third one was the Patrick and the Gorillas.
I don't know how I forgot.
Flying Gorilla. Play my game. Flying Gorilla.
I forgot about the guy with the tiny head. I don't know how. They played that clip like 90 fucking times.
Yeah.
I think that's why. It's like, I think after like the 20th time seeing it, my started decaying.
That's the other thing. They just play clips of SpongeBob over and over again. I remember like the times when it was fun for me to watch this was when SpongeBob was playing and this guy was not talking.
Yeah.
Because that's all he would do, is he would play like so much of the clip that like wasn't actually relevant to the like too much context.
And then replay it.
And he also
again.
Like overly academized, I guess, his language. Like he made it purposefully.
Like the random
it was
flashes of text.
Yeah, or he like when he put up the I know when he put up the definition of skin theory, it was a bunch of like bullshit words, and like thankfully I'm good enough at writing now that I was able to recognize like there were so many words that did not even need to be in there. This guy's even terrible at writing, but he made it overly like that on purpose to appeal to authority and try to give himself some air of legitimacy.
But also, like, it was dogmatic. He wouldn't actually define anything. He just kept saying skin theory is skin theory because it's a theory about skin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, that's skin theory.
Yeah.
Skin theory is the theory where there's skin because it's my theory that there's skin involved.
He basically just took a whole bunch of unrelated gags and read way too far into them. I have to talk about the salmon, by the way, because that's the thing that made me the angriest.
Is a type of fish.
That's the thing that made me, like, quit on this video the first time I tried to watch it. Because he starts talking about how Squidward wearing, like, a salmon costume is, like, proof of this theory because he's a fish wearing what looks like another fish, and so he's saying, like, that's the skin. Like, imagine if you were a human and you saw somebody wearing the skin of another human. I'm like...
Oh, and it's salmon colored, so it's like a cooked salmon, so it's even more fucked up.
Except, like, humans wear costumes of other humans all the time. Like, for Halloween or whatever. Or, like, cosplay. Have you ever heard of that? Like...
Or, like, the literal guy in a gorilla suit that is in your video a lot. Yeah. Actually... My guy, you dumb piece of shit. I hate you.
Yeah. He tried to say that it was like an intentional choice for the creators by connecting like the voice actor of the gorilla with Fred from Scooby-Doo and like...
Oh my god, remember when I'm like, it's this guy, it's D. Bradley Baker or whatever. What, is he gonna bring up American Dad now? And then he did!
He did!
Yeah. And then he did!
He brought up Klaus, yeah. Oh god.
I thought he was gonna go in the other direction. Like, there's the episode where Stan Smith tries to sleep with his son by inhabiting the body of a girl in a robot costume. That's the thing that happened to American Dad.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's...
The premise of that sucks a lot.
It escalates to that point, and then Francine finds out, and she's like, "Nuh-uh." And then there's, like, an Alien parody fight where she, like, gets into, like, one of those... like the alien mech or whatever, and then like fights this robot cheerleader. He goes like, "Stan, you can't fuck your son," and he's like, "But I want to spend time with it." It's funny.
Okay,
like,
I believe you.
It is funnier than us following through with covering skin theory. That's for sure.
Listen,
I feel a little bit about how the We Dire Gentlemen channel felt like when they started. When they got, like, an hour into the Chuck Wendig 1,000 tips. That's how I felt 20 minutes into the skin theory video.
Yeah, it was... The other thing that, like, really sucked about it, like, aside from the fact that... Well, I'm thinking of two things now. This person...
There's lots of stuff that sucks.
Says they went through the first 4 seasons of SpongeBob and tried to show us every instance of this happening. In 4 seasons, he could only find 12 instances. Not a whole lot of support for your theory, and also, why show them all to us in painstaking detail? Like... Also,
most of them weren't actually about skin, they were about clothes and or hair.
Or like, like the Muscle Bob episode with fake arms, like that's
with
not...
the rubber arms that you inflate.
How's that related to anything? Like,
it's like the way that he strips down every... And again, you know what? I'm gonna come at this as... It doesn't matter if he's being cheeky or not, because there are some points in it where I'm like, I feel like maybe he's just insecure about this enough, and he threw in a couple of lines to, like, cover his ass, so he could be like, well, clearly I was doing a thing where I'm just making a joke.
Yeah.
And, like, nah, dude, it's not funny. You're just, you're doing an accurate representation of a dumb piece of shit in real time with sincerity.
Yeah, I was saying, like, we referenced Cinema Sins earlier, and I was saying while I was watching this, like, I think this is Jeremy Cinema Sins, like, AU twin or something. Because he takes that level of issue with dumb shit that is not intended to be taken seriously, because it's a cartoon, and these are gags.
Yeah, the way that he, like, intentionally refuses to give actual context for some scenes, though. Like, that was another thing, is, like, sometimes he would play too much of the scene, and then another time it would be like, remember when Patrick literally got his head replaced? Isn't that fucked up? And it's like, yeah, the gag was that it was brain coral.
Yeah.
Like, that was the joke in the episode, was that...
This man has brain coral.
This man has brain coral.
There's also... He starts off the first, like, half... No, like 3/4 of this thing acting like this is like a serious conspiracy, and then starts getting into, but the writer of the creator of the show had such a unique sense of humor, and like it's such a funny show. Like all this stuff was
and it all went away because all the skin theory went away because he left the show, and clearly he would have been in on it, and we'll never know, because now he's fucking dead.
Like, this is the most abstract, pointless, like, insulting way to say that you miss old seasons of SpongeBob, like...
and this is also, like...
tribute to Steven Hillenburg, like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, like, I think that was a choice to also try and give himself some more legitimacy when he has none, is by going off on this tangent about how Steven Hillenburg was such a great creator, and that really falls flat. Yes, it's true he was a great creator, but that falls flat when you're actively disrespecting his vision.
Yeah.
I
find it... Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, no, and I was just gonna add to that and, like, glossing over his jokes and, like, reading into shit that's not there.
Yeah, like saying, oh, he had a great sense of humor. Let me take his sense of humor and treat it like it's not a joke and like it's some fucked up theory. Like, what?
And it's really interesting because, like, while we were initially watching it, before he got to that point, like, that last 5 minutes at the end or whatever... Like, we were watching it, and just the way that he was reading into it, we kept making the point, like, he's being really intentionally not bringing up the actual medium it's in. He's not talking about... And then he does bring it up later, and so it's like, yeah... Because I literally said, like, Steven Hillenburg worked on Rocko's Modern Life. Like, there are a lot of these similar gags in Rocko, too, because, like, that's just the style of, like, the
And then he showed clips of Rocko.
And then he showed clips of Rocko. And then I'm like, are you literally the dumbest motherfucker who ever has and ever will exist?
Yes, he is. And I hope he...
Whoa! For once, you had to use that any sound effects on yourself.
Yep.
All right, let me do one so that way you don't seem so fucked up in comparison. All right, I feel like this guy should swallow your go to the so that way.
Holy mackerel! And you kiss your mother with that mouth?
That ends with. Because it will have done less damage to media literacy and the minds of children than watching this video.
This man needs to be tried for war crimes. This man needs to be tried for war crimes.
It would have been one thing, too, if he would have, like, framed the whole skin theory thing as, like, a form of humor, like, a form of comedy.
Yeah, like, I could see there
being, like, some commentary there, but, like, saying it as like a serious conspiracy,
like treating it seriously to the point of
deep message, like meant to brainwash people or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know where this theory went because it's not a theory. There's nothing. It holds no water. It's just a guy saying random bullshit
also,
for an hour and 11 minutes.
I'll be that bitch. I also think he was being kind of fucking racist. Like there were some cuts where like he was clearly doing that thing where it's like a guy who's like, and look at all these scary, fucked up cultures where they have these rituals with masks. And that's clearly the parallel I'm drawing between this and skin theory is it's fucked up and scary when people have these rituals, and therefore it's fucked up and scary.
That's what I meant. Yeah. When I was talking about how he makes his language overly academic, he, like, the way he's framing this is like a fucked up theory, so he doesn't actually say, like, while the clips are playing, you know, these cultures are fucked up, but because of the framing of the theory itself, like, that's what's implied anyhow, and that kind of, like, subliminal racism is, in my opinion, worse, you know, because he was just going, like, here's what rituals are, here's what spirituality is, and I'm like, yeah, but you're framing it in this way specifically.
Well, but then there was that cut where he's, like, mass hysteria, and rather than, like, pulling from, like, woodcut drawings or, like, actual, like, illustrations that people who talk about, like, the mass laughing incident usually do because there's records of it. He just showed a bunch of, like, African children and slowed the footage down to try and make it spooky.
That was fucking.
That was really fucking racist.
That was gross.
Yeah, that was shitty.
That was stupid and weird and gross, and I don't know where he was going. But then, like, he just kind of stopped and then fucking moved on to some other shit.
He just imagined...
Like, he just kind of dropped that idea. And
just imagine...
But yeah, they're actually humans.
Yeah.
And SpongeBob's universe isn't real.
He just imagined black children experiencing joy and got so scared he went off on a tangent.
I wonder if he caught himself and was like, I'm not going to go any further... But, like, I don't, for whatever reason, he left that in the video.
It's like, you know how your great aunt or whatever will, like, start telling a story about, like, a funny thing that happened to her in the supermarket, and then she makes some weird aside comment about, like, and I saw a woman in a hijab, and I just want to make note of that. It's like that kind of energy, where it's like, where the fuck did this come from?
Also, the idea of mass psychosis has been weaponized more often than it's actually been applicable, and this guy's just, like, playing into that really fucking hard, and that irks me, because it's been used for, like, racist purposes, ableist purposes, so on and so forth.
Aside from that, what I was gleaning from it was he was trying to say, like, all of these people are clearly because here's the thing, he doesn't explain it, but the way that he actually structures this is to jump off from the skin theory to then say, like, but what if it wasn't actually skin? What if it was just a bunch of people who were fucking crazy?
Yeah.
What if it was just a bunch of weird, scary, crazy people?
It's a society.
It's like society, you know? We're all just
cultural things.
We were saying about how this guy is probably unironically one of those guys who, like, kins the Joker and, like, posts a lot on Reddit about how, like, you know, nihilism and life is meaningless and all that. Like, yeah, that's the vibe that this guy gives me, and this video turned me into the Joker. I'm the Joker now.
Because what else is there to say except literally everything he brings up, except for factual Wikipedia-able, out-of-context facts. Everything about his media analysis here is just wrong.
It's wrong and bad.
He doesn't know shit.
And his delivery of, like, factual information even is really gross and, like, elementary school-esque and feels like it was written by an 8th grader.
I just remember now, the salmon thing isn't what made me rage quit on this. It was the Superman reference, because that was the thing that was like, okay, this is emblematic of a huge media literacy problem, because there's this gag where, like, SpongeBob sort of tears open his skin in the same manner that Superman tears open his coat to reveal the costume. And, like, that was the gag, right? Is a reference to Superman. And this guy's goes like, oh, he tore his skin off. Look how fucked up that is. I'm like, no, it's a reference to Superman. If you had any form of media literacy, you would know this. Like...
Yeah.
There's also just, like, it's the style of the humor. Like, there's a lot of, like, ripping and tearing and, like, unmasking and, like...
Fleischer cartoons are heritage in cartoons.
And
like,
he literally acknowledges that. And he said, like, I can already see what the defense is going to be. And I know, da-da-da-da-da. But you're actually the closed-minded pieces of... So this is... this is where I want to end it. Is that... This is why I'm okay. I feel alright, like, giving this guy attention, negative attention.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a troll. If you are, dude, by the way, like, if you are going, like, oh, whatever, like, you clearly didn't get it, I'm troll, you're bad at it. There's nothing funny about it. You sound like a dumb asshole who isn't doing a bit.
Yeah, like your Turkey Tom ass narration.
Yeah. You sound like someone's cousin... who corners you at a party to talk about a Bionicle fanfic that he wrote when he was 11 and hasn't let go of. Like, that's what you sound like.
I challenge you, Skin Theory creator, if you're listening. You're probably not, but if you are...
To yourself.
Oh my god.
To write a rebuttal. Just write us a rebuttal. Or anybody who's listening who buys into Skin Theory, write a rebuttal. Try and convince us. You can't.
I don't think you will, because... Hey, I hope you Google us, dude. I'm coming for your You're dumb as shit. You are dumb as fuck. You deleted your pinned comment that was your half-assed attempt to defend yourself. I hope you feel bad about this. I hope
you win the lottery and the next day. And that...
Not to mention a duck!
When you get down there. Like, I really hope...
I'm glad... my hypothesis is you thought you were spitting. and you thought that you were, like, this cool guy, and then 5 million people watched your video and said you're a dumb asshole as well.
I still think there's probably, with the way the media literacy crisis is, there's probably some people who are buying this, and that really fucks me up. Read a book, touch grass, check for any gas leaks in your house, please.
Don't take cartoons so seriously.
Yeah. Like, it's entertaining because it's absurd, you know? If this were 100% realistic, it'd be fish floating by in an aquarium, and nobody wants to fucking watch that.
Here's my thing, right? Is, like, SpongeBob isn't even really that, like, raunchy of a show, if you think about it. It's pretty vanilla show. What if he did this with, like, Invader Zim or something? That's I'm like, why didn't you pick a show like that? That's like,
why didn't you pick Billy and Mandy? You could have picked Billy and Mandy.
Why didn't you do Dark Harvest Theory?
Yeah.
Fucking, there's actually something there. It's the whole reason. No, he did do this on purpose. I'm not giving him. I was like, okay, maybe this was like a shitty school project, and he just decided to upload it to YouTube to like show it to the class or something.
No, he purposely.
I was like, no, he did this is completely intentional.
This is the first thing he made after doing nothing but that, and only putting in the bare minimum, and having a teacher just go like, well, you sure did a lot of it, so that's impressive.
I just think the audacity of saying, I'm going to leave this video up and then I'm never going to make anything again, as if it's some kind of mic drop, like...
No, I think I hope he got embarrassed and he didn't want to open himself up again. I'm usually one to be encouraging, but this is a mind that I hope stays closed to thinking about this shit.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it feels like the kind of thing someone who committed to a bit would say at the end of this. Speaking of the end of this, we gotta end this.
Yeah,
I need to eat food and, read something good.
And plot on how to this guy.
Yeah, that's my call to action, is read a good book or watch a good movie or cartoon or TV show or whatever.
My call to action is to plan and execute the of this man. You did give me free reign of the Ed, Edd, and Eddy stock.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Ed, Edd, and Eddy, I would hate to show Ed, Edd, and Eddy to this guy, because they have a lot of gags about tongues in that show, and this man, would not... didn't he bring up that, like, karate was innuendo for sex? And that was, like, completely unrelated?
That too, yeah. The whole karate being a innuendo, like, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Out of context... about, like, literally the whole episode.
And the part where he's talking about the whole bit where Mr. Krabs sheds, and he's like, and SpongeBob climbed into his body. Isn't that fucked up?
That one's the stupidest, because the whole plot of that episode is, like, crabs molt their skin to have a new one. So, like, it's a plot device. It's not just, like skin
it's not
theory.
that deep. It's not that deep, bro.
This is why we have to wrap up, because, like, what else can we say except this guy is dumb and stupid and wrong? About literally everything except for his Googleable facts that he clearly pulled off of Wikipedia.
If you want some good media, go check out Aria. She did the theme music for our show. We would like to thank her very much. There's a link to her card below. There's also a link to the Patreon if you want exclusive access to early episodes, plus other stuff that I'm doing, such as novella writing, thumbnails, that sort of thing. I'd like to thank Alex K. and Christina Bone for subscribing to the Patreon. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell. Really helps the show out. Anybody else have any pluggables?
Yeah, Joe has a YouTube channel that's better than this guy.
Yeah, that's more
I do have a
media.
channel.
Yeah.
I am currently working on a PNG tuber for it right now, so that's
exciting. Yeah,
kind of holding off on posting my next video until I.
What's your channel name again?
Oh, it's just slightly.floating.
Slightly.floating. All right, link in the doobly-doo as well. Check it out. There's, for any other projects that we're doing, there's links in our link trees.
Yeah, I am unfortunately on Twitter again. What's the art there?
I refuse to go back.
You're right.
Never go back to Twitter.
So...
Yeah, go watch a Satoshi Kon film.
Yeah.
You'll be smarter for it.
Go read My Immortal, it's better than this.
Go get a lobotomy.
That's what I'm doing when we're done.
drink some coolant and
some Drano.
Yeah.
At the same time. And it'll be better than this.
Go crack open a Stanley cup and pour some of the caffeinated lemonade from Panera through it. And it'll give you less brain damage.
Dump
Skin theory.
Gasoline all over yourself.
Doug, I hate you so much.
Doug Wolliver, the creator.
Yeah, I hate you. Like, we're beefing. If I ever see your face, I'm not gonna like threaten him with violence. Right. I'm gonna call you a weenie and try and make you cry in front of all of your friends.
See you, goofy goober.
Yeehaw!